Hey everyone! Today we're diving into a real-life mystery that's straight out of a thriller movie. Picture this: a small, quiet town called Columbia, Missouri. But hold on to your hats because things are about to get intense. So imagine this picturesque town, with its friendly folks and peaceful streets. But underneath that calm surface, there's a story brewing that's anything but peaceful. It's got all the elements of a gripping tale: love, secrets, and unfortunately, murder. It all started on a stormy summer day back in 2004. The storm wasn't the only thing brewing, though. There was trouble in the air, and it wasn't long before tragedy struck. Jesse Valencia, a bright young student, was found dead in the grass, with a chilling wound on his throat. This wasn't just some accident. It was something far more sinister. But what's the twist? Well, Jesse wasn't just any student. He was tangled up in a secret same-sex relationship with a police officer. Yeah, you heard that right. Love knows no bounds, but in this case it led to heartbreak and ultimately to Jesse's untimely demise. So buckle up, because we're about to unravel the mystery of what really went down in Columbia, Missouri. It's a story you won't soon forget. But the real complexity of the story emerges when it reveals the illicit relationship between Jesse and a local police officer. A secret homosexual relationship had been smoldering in the darkness of long nights, and the truth behind Jesse Valencia's death seems to be just the tip of the iceberg. The question arises: what is the secret behind the relationship between the university student and the police officer? What led to Jesse Valencia's death? To find out exactly what happened in the Jesse Valencia murder case, please watch the documentary crime video below, produced by W Crime. First, let's delve into the life of the victim, Jesse Valencia. Jesse James Wade Valencia, a young man with many ambitions and dreams of becoming a model, was born on February 22, 1981, in Perryville, Missouri. Jesse was the son of Lupe Valencia and Linda B. Valencia. His life began in the rural countryside of Kentucky, where he was often cared for by his mother and maternal grandparents. With two older sisters, Jesse always held a special place in his mother's heart as her only son. Throughout his formative years, Jesse gradually revealed to his mother that he was gay. Linda, a mother with a big heart, was not only tolerant but also provided unconditional love and accepted all of her son's decisions. All she wanted was to see him happy. This played a significant role in shaping Jesse's character and development. Jesse, with his charming looks, pursued a modeling career after graduating from high school before entering university life in Columbia, Missouri. He pursued his academic passions with the aspiration of becoming a lawyer. However, like many other students, university life brought Jesse new and exciting experiences. He became part of a vibrant student community, known for its lively spirit and party culture. Although beloved by many friends and lovers, Jesse was not yet ready to enter a serious relationship. He was still exploring and searching for himself in the colorful and challenging life of youth. On the evening of June 4th, Jesse was working at the campus motel. After his shift ended, he attended a lively party on campus. Here, Jesse drank quite a bit and subsequently became deeply intoxicated, lost in the comfortable sensation that alcohol brought. No one knew exactly where Jesse had gone and what had happened to him afterward. On the afternoon of June 5, 2004, some students discovered a body on the lawn and called 911. Initially, it was thought that it could have been an accident, considering the location of the body between two buildings. Some speculated that the man might have been drunk and tried to jump from one building to another. The victim was identified as Jesse. He was found lying on his back wearing only shorts. Jesse had sustained severe injuries with a deep cut to his throat, so severe that the blade had reached his spine. There were signs of struggle on Jesse's hands, typical of a knife attack. He also had several bruises on his upper body. The authorities could not identify the murder weapon at the scene, but they speculated that the weapon used to inflict the deep gash on his throat might have been a serrated knife. The medical examiner determined that Jesse had died before 6 a.m. that day, leaving both the campus community and the surrounding area in shock and concern. Reviewing Jesse's phone records opened up a series of mysterious traces and raised many questions. Among them was a call made that night. Specifically important was the call to his university friend Ed McDavid at 3:13 a.m., which lasted 2 minutes and 40 seconds. McDavid later confirmed that he and Jesse had slept together, and they had met for the last time 2 nights before Jesse's death. On the night Jesse was murdered, McDavid stated he was at home with his roommate, which was corroborated. However, when detectives arrived at the scene, they found McDavid's apartment door open, but no signs of disturbance or forced entry. During the room inspection, under a pile of clothes, detectives found a used condom, which was later sent for analysis. DNA analysis from the condom showed DNA profiles of both Jesse and Ed McDavid. Further questions arose when DNA testing was conducted on Jesse's fingernails and found on the condom. In this test, DNA from Jesse and Ed McDavid was identified. However, a third unidentified person's DNA was also present. During the investigation, detectives began interviewing Jesse's friends and called for anyone with information about the mysterious murder night to come forward. A young man named Andrew Schermerhorn provided particularly compelling information that caught the investigators' attention. A particular and surprising detail was revealed by Andrew to the detectives: the FWB, friends with benefits, relationship between him and Jesse. This type of informal relationship is common among many young people today. According to Andrew, they had met and started having sexual relations a few months earlier. However, an unexpected and inappropriate incident occurred one late night when they were sleeping together. There was a knock at the door. Jesse got up to open the door and was surprised to see a police officer standing outside in uniform, shining a flashlight. In this tense situation, Jesse reassured Andrew and then invited the police officer inside. The three engaged in sexual activity, and after everything ended, the officer warned Andrew not to tell anyone about what had happened. This information caused shock and confusion in the investigation, as it raised the possibility that someone involved might actually be linked to the murder. Andrew's story suggests that there might be a perpetrator responsible for Jesse's death, and notably, Jesse had talked to his mother about his relationship with a police officer, but did not reveal the man's name. In fact, Jesse might not even have known the real name of the man. Jesse recalled descriptions of the police officer following him, but admitted he knew little about the man. Jesse's suspicions grew as he realized he knew almost nothing about the man's identity. Jesse shared these concerns with his mother, Linda, creating a tense and anxious situation in the family. Andrew was asked to come to the Columbia Police Department to assist in identifying the officer who had appeared at Jesse's apartment on the night of the incident. Surprisingly, the identification process for Andrew was straightforward. As he walked down the corridor at the station, another officer passing by shocked him, as he recognized that this was the man who had engaged in intimate relations with Shara Horn and Jesse that night. This revelation caused surprise and confusion in the investigation, as it raised suspicions about the officer's connection to Jesse's death. This complication made the case more complex, and investigators had to face new aspects in uncovering the truth behind the murder. Stephen Rios, a 27-year-old officer who had served at the Columbia Police Department for 3 years, was a married man with a newborn at home. He was described as a beloved and respected member of the police force, and his superiors trusted his abilities and were confident about his promising career. Stephen Rios's trajectory was marked by ambition and strict adherence to rules. His colleagues at the Columbia Police Department were shocked to learn about his relationship with Jesse, and they were reluctant to believe that he could have played any role in Jesse's murder. The relationship between a police officer and a student caused outrage and skepticism in the community. Jesse and Rios first met about 2 months before the murder at a party that Jesse attended. Police were called to disperse the party, and Jesse, known for being obstinate and argumentative, was arrested by Rios. Jesse received a city court summons for obstructing official business. This encounter marked the beginning of an unusual relationship between a student and a police officer. Rios took Jesse to the station and engaged him in personal conversations along the way. The day after the party, Rios appeared at Jesse's apartment uninvited, leading to their first encounter. After that event, it seemed that Rios's real intent was to pursue a physical relationship with Jesse. Over the following months, Rios continued to visit Jesse unexpectedly, and they had sexual relations, creating a secretive, dark, and complicated relationship. Joan Sheridan, a close friend of Jesse, confirmed that Jesse had met Rios several times after the arrest, and these meetings were usually just for sexual relations. Another friend of Jesse, Swingle, also confirmed this information. Sheridan disclosed that when Jesse went to court to handle the summons, he believed the charges would be dismissed due to his relationship with Rios. However, Jesse was worried about the charges not related to the party being dismissed. During the initial interrogation, Rios denied any sexual relationship with Jesse. However, when confronted with witness testimonies, he admitted to their sexual relationship. Yet, concerning the meetings related to the murder, Rios vehemently denied any involvement and claimed that he was at home with his wife on the night in question. Rios agreed to provide a DNA sample, which was then compared to the DNA found under Jesse's fingernails. The match confirmed Rios as the previously unidentified third person. However, this discovery did not confirm Rios's involvement in the murder. The relationship between Rios and Jesse was not illegal in a legal sense, but it was certainly unethical given Rios's married status, raising questions about the implications for his family. After being released from the interrogation, Rios remained a part of the investigation. Further forensic analysis on Jesse's body was conducted, revealing distinct bruises on Jesse's chest and between his shoulders. These bruises were clear signs of using a specialized neck restraint technique known as a unilateral vascular neck restraint, a method applied to subdue a person. A law enforcement training officer examined the bruises on Jesse's body and agreed they could result from applying this technique. However, it was also possible that the technique was applied improperly, and Jesse struggled against the person trying to restrain him, leading to more bruising than expected. Detectives reviewed Rios's police record and found he had failed defensive tactics training, another piece of evidence against him. Following the interview, Captain Schwarzer received a distressing phone call from Rios, who said he had done something terrible. He told Captain Schwartz that he was 150 miles away from Kansas City and had purchased a handgun. Rios was taken into protective custody and held for 96 hours at a psychiatric facility. He managed to escape and made his way to the roof of a parking garage, where he threatened to commit suicide. Police arrived at the scene and were able to talk him down from the ledge. He was again taken to a psychiatric facility, and during this time, forensic analysis found small black hairs not belonging to Jesse, potentially from someone who had tried to strangle him. Some of these hairs still had roots, meaning they could be tested for DNA, and the results showed they matched Stephen Rios. Rios continued to deny any involvement in Jesse's murder. However, there was information that he was not at home throughout the night Jesse was murdered. He was unaccounted for 45 minutes, and no one could explain his whereabouts. This added layers of suspicion and complexity to the investigation. During his trial for first-degree murder, Rios steadfastly maintained his defense. Special Prosecutor Morley Twingle shared that on the night Jesse died, Rios appeared unannounced at Jesse's apartment, as he often did. Jesse's mother, Linda, disclosed that her son had discovered Rios was married with a child. Jesse had initially been apprehensive about the relationship, but learning this fact prompted him to decide to end it. Additionally, he planned to inform Rios's superiors about their relationship if Rios did not leave him alone. The prosecution argued that on the night of the murder, when Jesse left a party and returned to his apartment, Rios arrived and threatened Jesse not to reveal their affair. A quarrel ensued, and neighbors reported hearing noises from Jesse's apartment. Jesse, wearing only shorts, ran out of the apartment while Rios quickly became aggressive. Rios relentlessly pursued Jesse and attacked him from behind using a control technique to restrain both of Jesse's arms. Under the pressure of the assault and the effects of alcohol in his system, Jesse ultimately lost consciousness. Rios then inflicted a deep slash on Jesse's throat and fled the scene. Rios's attorney, Valerie Leftwich, attempted to discredit Jesse in her defense of her client, portraying Jesse as promiscuous and unstable, suggesting that he had multiple sexual relationships with various men, including Stephen Rios. However, the jury was not swayed by these unsubstantiated arguments and sided with the forensic evidence. The defense also requested the court to exclude evidence, such as the hairs found on Jesse's body, crime scene photos, and the results of Jesse's autopsy, as well as a knife that the prosecutors believed matched one owned by Rios. They also wanted the jury to be allowed to visit the location where Jesse's body was found. The defense argued that the hair evidence had been contaminated during the autopsy and used improperly as evidence, thus tainted by unlawful tampering. They also contended that the Spyderco knife involved in the case was only similar to the knife owned by Rios and did not prove his involvement. In a previous court session at the trial, new information was revealed that Rios had abused his power within the police force by using his badge to coerce Jesse into having non-consensual sexual relations. Subsequently, he used a knife to force his lover to keep the secret and remain silent. In May of that year, the jury at Rios's trial convicted him of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. Rios's original sentence was overturned by the Missouri Western District Court of Appeals due to rumors that were deemed inadmissible by the court. A panel of 3 judges from the Missouri Western District Court of Appeals overturned the verdict and ordered a retrial after ruling that the rumor-based statements at the trial were prejudicial. A new trial took place in 2008, where he was convicted of second-degree murder and armed criminal action, resulting in a life sentence plus an additional 23 years. Over the years, Rios has consistently maintained his innocence. He believes that the evidence points to his innocence and trusts the judicial system, despite being wrongly imprisoned, as he claims. He hopes for someone to come forward with information that could clear his name. Rios is currently serving a life sentence in a South Dakota prison. As for my thoughts on Rios consistently denying his guilt, it's hard to say without knowing all the details of the case. However, the evidence presented against him seems substantial, and his continued denial may be a coping mechanism or a strategic legal move. As for the sentence handed to him, given the severity of the crime and the evidence presented, it seems justified. But ultimately, it's up to the judicial system to determine guilt and punishment based on the evidence presented in court.